Okay. So anyway, so we are a small group, and I don't know what you want to do. If there's any particular prayer that any of you want to do, because I would feel totally comfortable with doing whatever is important to you to learn.
You said the
Um,
Shema and Elena. That's
I
whatever you
said
said.
this Shema, but it's
Yeah,
up to you. If I don't know how you feel. Somebody had wanted the prayer for Israel again, which is fine, which I'm more than happy to do, but they're not here today, so I'm not going to do that today. I will do
Shema
it
sounds
another day.
fine.
Okay. So the Shema, so I'm gonna. The Shema is it. So it's in the complete
The
Sim
Shema
Shalom.
is like we do it every week. I mean, to me, that's really simple. But
Well,
the prayer for
Judy, also,
Israel.
Judy, your Hebrew is pretty good. And I'm going to suggest that we also do, I don't know, just for learning purposes, and I don't know if any of your synagogues do it. My old synagogue did. We did the paragraph about the tzitzit out loud. Our
Oh
synagogue
yeah,
here
that
does
would be
not.
great. That would
The
be
what?
good.
So we could do the first paragraph, which we're mostly familiar with, but I'd like you to be able to read it, actually, and then go to the third paragraph, which talks about the tzitzit, which is not quite as familiar as the
We just
first
do the
one.
one paragraph at ours. Yeah.
Yeah. So some synagogues do. Our old synagogue we did, but at the new one we don't. In Lev Shalem, it's page 155. In the Slim Shalom, it's page 112. Okay, so yes, it is something that you are all pretty familiar with, but I think it would be helpful to actually read it and see what it looks like. So when you come across these words in other contexts, you know what it means. Before we do that, does anybody have any questions about Passover? Anything that happened at your Seder, or any of the prayers at the Seder, or anything else before we just go over and are done with that holiday? Okay, just asking. Um, okay, so I say we start with the Shema, and who would like to volunteer? The first paragraph.
Yeah,
Okay, Arlene, you're it.
I'm not as familiar. All right. Shema, starting with Shema Yisrael. I don't know.
Sure. Yep.
I don't know. I Echad.
Right.
All right.
The next line, the only
uh,
time we read it out loud is Yom Kippur, but you actually are supposed to read it silently.
So should I read it out loud or?
Sure.
Baruch, Shem Kavod Malhuto Leolam Vayed.
Good.
The Ahafta et Adonai Elohecha B'kol Levavecha Uv'kol Nafshecha Uv'kol Uv'kol Me'odecha V'hayu Hadvarim Ha'ele Asher He Me.
You see the dot on the top of the nun?
I know he Mitzav Vocha.
No, it's that's just a word you have to know. It's mitzavacha.
Mitzav.
When it's mitzvot, it's always the v sound, even though it has a dot.
When it's what? When it's
Even when it has to do with mitzvot,
okay.
Even though it has a dot, it's mitzavacha.
Mitzavecha. Hayom Alevavecha Vishinantam Levanecha.
Good.
Vishi Barta Bam Vishivtecha Vivetecha uv lechtecha baruch
What?
uv okay baderech
Good.
derek
Madera. Good.
baderek uv shok becha
Good.
uv kumecha uk shartam leot al yadecha v'hayu litot fot bain
Read read that word again.
litotafot
Perfect.
litotafot
Good.
bain enecha uk what tam
Perfect.
al mizuz zot
Good.
betecha uvish recha.
Perfect.
I need to practice
Exactly.
it more.
Perfect.
Yeah.
Okay. So we know what this is. This is God talking to us. A lot of the cha, that's you, all the things you have to do. Okay. And Mrs. Zoe, just as a point of information, aren't really the things we put on the door. It's really the door posts. You put, but we have come to call the thing we put on our doorpost a mezuzah or mezuzot as in plural. Okay. And totafot in another language are tefillin. The thing
Okay.
we put bein enecha, einayim are eyes. Remember we talked about anything that's paired is an ayim ending. Einayim are eyes. So you put it between your eyes and on your arm. But first it says yadecha, to your arm and between your eyes. And the totafot are the tefillin or phylacteries as in Greek. Okay, so that's what this is about. This is talking about that we're teaching them when you're walking on the way, that's the derech. Beitecha is your house, when you're at home, when you're on the road, and that you have to put these words in the tefillin and in your mezuzot on your door, on your house, and on your gates. Okay, sha'ar, like a lot of our synagogues are called, have sha'ar in their names. The gates of prayer in English, some temples are called actually. Okay, that's the first paragraph. I'm going to ask Cindy, would you like to read or not?
I'll try.
Okay.
Shema Yisrael Adonai Eloheinu Adonai Ehad. Baruch at no wait aim because wait
Wait, where are you?
Kavod Malkuto Le'olam Ba'ed.
Yes.
The Hafta 8 Adonai Elohecha B'kol Levavcha Uvkol Nafshecha.
Mm-hmm.
Uvkol Mi'odecha B'hayu Hadcharim Ha'eleh no Aleh Ha'eleh.
Ava, you're right.
Yeah. Asher Anochi
Mm-hmm.
Mitzah Bicha
Good.
Hayom El Levav
All.
all Levabecha, Bashin, na nichtam, Levanecha, the ta, bum, Beshiv ticha, Beve techa, ulev techa, badi recha,
Now
no,
look at the vowel underneath the Dalet.
baderech,
Good. Good. Exactly.
Shav techa, uvekumecha,
Good.
Ukshar pam, leot, all, yadecha, Viha you, Vitota thot,
Good.
Bain, Anecha,
Good.
Uvtav Pam, all, Mizu Zot,
Good.
Techa, Uv, Uvish, Recha.
Good. 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 Ahavta. Love. Ahava. We talked about that. Okay. With and kol, you'll see a lot. That's all. And kol can be a voice, but this kol spelled like this is all. With all your heart, with all your soul, and with all your might.
So Cole means all.
All.
That's
Yes.
the name of our newsletter.
Yes, but voice, it also means voice, spelled differently.
Oh,
It's a
voice.
cuff.
Okay.
It's instead of this, it's the I get the letters mixed up, the names of it, but it's the other one but that goes down. That is voice, and a lot of newsletters have that in their name. You're absolutely right. But this way, spelled like this way, it's all, and you see it a
Okay.
lot. Okay. Oat is a sign also. One of the reasons that we don't wear tefillin on Shabbos is Shabbat itself it's a sign. We don't need anything else, so we don't need tefillin on Shabbos. So you don't wear tefillin on Shabbos. Okay.
With
Yes.
with one of the letters, with the coal one, when the coal,
Wow.
I thought that circle going around without I thought when it had a dot in it, it's like a k sound. And then
Give
I
me
thought,
the word you're talking about. I don't know where you are. Give me a hint.
any one of them, let's see, the first line, the hafta et Adon Elahecha. Now this one, the coal.
Bechol.
It's huh, right? It's a huh. But all the time and the next one, uv chol, and then go to the
They're all chol.
go to the next to the left, like the last sorry, sentence. U uch ta.
Tom.
Now is that also a ch, or is that I'm
Yeah.
getting
Always a ch unless it's a dot. It's a K sound if it has the dot.
Okay,
Tom.
so how do you pronounce it?
Tom.
Okay, good.
It is the ch sound.
Okay, good. Thank you for clarifying that.
Whenever it doesn't have the dot. And that's universal. The dot, and sometimes the dot is different, but in there it's always the same. Okay, I'm gonna skip to the third paragraph. I'm gonna read it, and then Judy's gonna read it after me. Vayomer Adonai El Moshe Lemor, Daber El Bnei Yisrael, Va'amarta Alehem, Va'asu Lahem Tzitzit Al Kanfei Bigdehem Ladorotam Benatnu Al Tzitzit Hakanaf Patil Techelet, Vahayu Lachem Letzitzit Uritem Oto Uschartem et kol mitzvot Adonai va'asitem otam v'lo taturu acharei lavavachem v'acharei einechem asher atem zonim achareihem lema'an tizkaru va'asitem et kol mitzvotai excuse me, v'item kedoshim le'Elohechem. Ani Adonai Elohechem asher hotzeti etchem me'eretz Mitzrayim lehiyot lachem le'Elohim. Ani Adonai Elohechem. I am your
I'm not-
God. Yes.
I'm lost. I have a.
Third paragraph. We skip. It should be. I don't know which book you're reading
I'm
in.
in one.
The first one is the Vahavta. Okay. First we do the Shema, then we do the
Okay.
paragraph. Then there's another paragraph for Hayu Im Shema, etc., etc. And then the third paragraph is the Vayomer Adonai El Moshe,
Okay,
and
okay.
that's the one that talks about the tzitzit. And if you're wearing a talit, before you start the Shema, it is traditional to gather the four corners. And actually, in the prayer right before Shema, it'll say Arba Kanfot, okay, the four corners. So you gather the four corners, and when you say tzitzit in this paragraph, you kiss the tzitzit. And then also at the end, when you say emet, you also kiss the tzitzit.
And we skipped the second paragraph because it's not read
I
out
skipped
loud.
it. I skipped. Yeah.
Excuse me, Judy, I'm gonna be here, but I'm going on video and
Okay.
mute, so I'll be following
Okay.
with you. Okay,
Okay. Okay.
yeah, thank
Great,
you.
Arlene.
Thank
Okay,
you.
good.
Yeah, thank
Okay.
you.
Good luck. Okay. Yes. Question, Cindy. Sorry. Yeah, we skipped. I'll tell you why we skipped the second paragraph. We could certainly read it. I'm not against it, but I don't know anybody that does it out loud. And I
Okay.
know synagogues that do the third paragraph out loud. So that's why I figured to do the third paragraph. Also, we read about things that we do. We talk about the tzitzit. It tells us that we're supposed to wear the tzitzit. So I think it's nice. Tzitzit al kanfei bigdehem. The tzitzit are on the corners of your garment. The idea was, according to my husband, I'm not such an expert. It used to be, it wasn't a special thing. It was like a poncho that anybody would wear, males or females. And they would put on the corners, they would put these tzitzit. Okay. And we have, some people wear what they call arba kanfo, which actually means the four corners. And that they wear underneath their clothes. Usually when we think about tzitzit, we think about the talit that we wear on top. But some people also wear it underneath. I even know a woman that does that, but mostly only men, mostly Orthodox men. And because they want to wear it all the time, and you don't wear the outer talit all the time, except for I bet if you are around Haredi men, you will see them with the tzitzit, with the talit katan on the outside. I don't know if anybody's ever seen that, but I've seen it in different places. And it's just like a little four-cornered thing, like goes on top, and it has the tzitzit on it. We generally don't do that. We just wear it on the talit outside, and we really wear it at morning services always. And the person that's leading the afternoon service will usually wear a talit, not the people that attend, but the person that's leading. But you don't wear it at night because it says you shall see them. And they figured at night you didn't see them.
Except
There's
for
only one
Kol
time.
Nidre. Except
I
for
was just
Kol-
gonna say, except for one time, and you got it, Kol Nidre. But you have to start it, Kol Nidre, for various reasons. You have to start it before it gets dark. You start Kol Nidre because you can't convene a court on when it's dark, and you put your talit on also before it gets dark. So even you're wearing it into the dark, you put it on before. Yes, Cindy.
Wasn't there something where they use squid ink for the top?
Yes, where a techelet. I don't know if you remember. That was in one of the words I read. It was techelet, and the techelet is the blue thread. I think that's why actually a lot of the particular old-fashioned talit, what we used to all have. We used to have in our synagogues the talit
Not
that were
working.
white with the blue stripes, right? We still have
Leaving
a
me.
lot of them. The ones that usually the synagogue gives out, they have the stacks of them for people to take.
Right.
Usually are the white ones with the blue stripes. So the blue thread, which is techelet, used to be what in the tzitzit, and you may see some people now, just in the last few years, that actually have a blue thread in their tzitzit. The reason they stopped, because before, until a few years ago, you never saw anybody with a blue thread. You saw the blue stripes, but you never saw a blue thread. They didn't know what the dye really was, supposedly. They forgot, people, we think that only we're not from, and everybody in the past, they davened 3 times a day, and they kept kosher, and they did everything. They didn't do everything. Period, they didn't even read Torah. They had to bring back Torah. So there were many times when people didn't do things, so they lost what the color was. So they stopped. Now, supposedly, they know the color now, so they have this thread. I don't know how they know it, to be honest.
What's the
I don't know
significance?
who decided that they know it.
What's the significance?
Yeah.
Is it so you could see it at dark or?
No, it's actually because it's actually in the Torah, the Chalep. It's
Oh.
actually in the Torah that you're supposed to have that blue thread. That's actually in the Torah,
Oh, okay.
the blue thread.
Yeah,
It was
good
also
weekend.
royalty, the royal blue. We even hear about that in English, royal blue. It's a bluish purple. And so that's the same idea, because we're supposed to be a holy people. So we're supposed to be, we are supposed to be royalty, all Jews. So that's why they had this blue thread, but they didn't know where it was. I don't know who decided that this was the blue. I don't know how they decided that.
So it
Somebody
used to come from
decided that.
squid, right? Squid
What?
ink. It used to come from
Yeah,
squid,
it's some
right?
kind of, it was some kind of mollusk. I don't know whether it was squid or not. I know what I've heard is it's some kind of mollusk. I don't know what kind, or
Which is
something from the
kosher,
ocean.
right? Is it kosher? Is
Not to
squid-
eat.
Right, right, okay, but
Not
to
to
use to
eat.
eat, okay.
Not to eat, but to use the ink. Well, that's another whole story, whether you can use things that are not kosher. There was a whole thing that Orthodox people didn't have footballs because they were made from pigskin at one point. I don't think they still are, but so I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, I've
Yeah,
heard of
that's
Orthodox
a
people.
story
cut-
altogether.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I've heard of Orthodox people cutting out non-kosher animals from baby clothing.
Yeah. Whatever. But that's not using them. They do exist in the world. That I don't understand. I understand not using them, but they do exist in the world. The same thing as cutting out women's faces, but that's another story. Be quiet. Anyway, so that's
have
the
a good
story.
day.
And that's why I picked this
Yeah.
paragraph.
You too.
And I think the reason we did it was because to get people into knowing when they should be kissing the tzitzit is why they do it out loud. And we also sing it. We don't read it, we actually sing it. And it's also to the trope notes. And you can see, as you said, Cindy, in the Chumash, but also in our Siddur, it actually has the trope notes in where the Hebrew is. It has if you can look and see, if you look under Vayomer, under the Yud, you can see a little schmitzik, and that's the trope note for Vayomer there. And you'll see it in our Sidurim, the ones that we use. I don't know if it's all of them, but in Sim Shalom and in Lev Shalem, anything that comes from the Torah has the trope notes on it. Whether we use it or not, it's included in our Siddur. And you can see the extra marks that are not the vowels, and those are the trope notes. Okay, now, Judi, would you like to read?
You want me to read that last paragraph?
Thanks.
Huh? Okay, just a second.
Okay. Vayomer Adonai el Moshe Lemor Daber al Bnei Yisrael, and that's the way we sing it when we do it, and the places that
Want to
I've
sing
been.
it? You can sing.
No, you can do whatever you want, whatever feels comfortable for you.
Vayomer Adonai El Moshe Lemor Dabir El Bnei Yisrael. Va'am wait a minute. Um Omar Ta Elohe Elo
No,
El Va
but Marta is right. The
Ta
next word.
Va'amarta Elohe El
Alehem. It's not from
Alehem
Elohim. Tell
Va'ashu
them. To them. Alehem.
Va'alehem Va'asu Laham Sitsi Al Fnei
Hanfei.
Vigadehem Ladoratam Vinatanu Al Sitsi
Atnu.
Acha
Tanu.
Necha.
Slowly. Read it a little slower.
What?
Al Kanfei Bigdehem. Ladorotam.
Vidoratam Vinatinu Al Sitsi Hachanaf Patil
Techelet. That's
Tehela
Cindy. That's the Techelet.
Vahaya Lachem Latzitzi Ura Itam Oto
Uritem.
Oto
Yep.
Uzkartem et Kol Mizvot Adonai Va'asitem et Atem below.
No. Vasitem. What's after Vasitem?
What?
What's after Vasitem? Yes.
Below? No.
No. Before below.
Oh,
Vasitem.
Otem,
Good.
Otem,
Yep.
below, Taturu, Art,
Good.
Achare, Levavachem, Va'achare, Ene, Enechem,
Good.
Asher, Atem, Zonem,
Neem.
Zonim, Acharehem, Lama'an, Tizkaru, Va'asitem, Et, Kol, Mizota,
Mitzvotai.
Vayitem, Kadoshem, Lelohechem, Ani, Adonai, Elohechem, Asher, Hotseti, Atchem, Me'eretz, Mitzrayim, Liot, Lachem, Lelohem,
Elohim. That's the
Lelohim,
separate
I'm
word
sorry.
altogether.
Lelohim, Ani, Adonai, Elohechem.
Good.
Emet.
Yeah. One little thing makes a big difference. I am to your God, to God, I am your God. Ani Adonai Elohechem. I, the Lord, am your God. Okay? And you saw the Techelet in here. And if you look over at the English, you'll see it says blue thread.
Mhm.
That's what the Techelet is. Okay?
Okay, I'm sorry, I have to leave. I have an appointment.
That's okay.
So,
Good luck. Shabbat Shalom,
Shabbat
Judi.
Shalom, and
Shalom.
probably see you next week. Okay.
Okay. So you can see where it talks about the same things we talked about before. Einechem. Remember, we have also the eyes and the heart. Lavavachem. Same word. You don't have to know exactly what it means, but recognize some of the words that we're reading in our prayers. And that's the stuff we're talking about. Okay. And kanfei and kanaf. Kanaf is just a singular of corner. Okay, and what so just so you have some sense of what we're reading. We're not just reading letters, we're really reading words. Al tzitzit hakanaf patil techela, in the corner. Each corner. That's one corners. Kanaf, kanfei is the plural of corners. Also the last part we read should have sounded a little familiar. Okay. Hotzeti etchem me'eretz Mitzrayim. I took you out of the land of Egypt, brought you out of bondage. We read that in the Haggadah from the land of Egypt. Okay, and in my Haggadah they don't translate Mitzrayim as Egypt; they just say Mitzrayim.
I have a question.
So
Mitzrayim, above the race are two dots. Is that trope?
what? Wait, what? Mitzrayim? What?
Okay. Mitzrayim in the Lev Shalem, above the race are two dots. Is
Yeah,
that
that's
trope?
part of the vow. Remember I said all those extra stuff? That's
That's
all part of the trope notes.
Trope, okay.
Yeah, all this stuff you don't recognize, Cindy, as regular vowels, those are all trope notes.
Okay.
Yeah, some of them are on top and some are underneath. Like if you look at below, it just sort of spoke to me, and sort of in the middle of the paragraph, there's a thing above the lamed. It just is sort of in the middle of the paragraph. And let's see also has something above the last letter, the three dots. That's all trope notes.
Okay. And actually under the
Everything that you don't
yeah,
recognize as a vowel is a trope note.
okay.
So for us, when we're just reading, it's irrelevant, obviously. But if somebody's singing it or somebody wants to practice their trope notes, they can do it in any prayer that's from the Torah. In Lev Shalem and Sim Shalom, they have that. I don't think it was in the old Siddurim, but I'm not sure. Okay. 10:45. I don't know what's happening with Arlene. Hopefully she's okay. She's at the hospital. If you couldn't tell, I talked to her before. She's not doing so great. I don't know exactly what, but somebody near her family is in the hospital, obviously. So, yeah. What can I tell you?
Yeah, it
That's
looked
what I
like she
can
was
tell
in a
you.
doctor's office.
Yeah. So she might be talking to somebody. I'm not sure what, but I know she was at the hospital
No.
when she started out here. So anyway, any other questions, Cindy? Since it's you and me.
How do you learn trope?
Excuse me.
How do you know you're ready and how do you learn trope?
I think, how do you learn? You can learn from somebody. You can, have a teacher. I know in Women's League, and I don't know if they're going to do it again. They're teaching it now in preparation for the bat mitzvah class is going to be doing something at the convention. If you have a cantor or maybe the rabbi at your shul, I would assume would be happy to teach. You can ask for a class or you can do it individually. You can also, I'm sure there's stuff online as well. And what it is, and each note, it's the same as a vowel. It has its own set of notes, but when it's put with something else, they have a different sound sometimes. Like when you put the yud after the ah sound and it becomes I, it has a little bit of a different sound. If it's at the end of a verse, sometimes it has different sound. If you listen, if you go to shul, when you go to shul, if you look at the Torah and at your Chumash, you can hear when it comes to the end of a verse. You don't have to have your book in front of you to know when they come to the end of a verse, because it's a specific trope note at the end, like a period. At the end of each verse, it's a specific trope note. So it's all part of learning, and obviously it helps if you know what it means when you're learning trope, as in anything would help if you know what it means. It's like instead of reading words, when you read the sentence, you get it makes more sense. But you can learn it. Part of it is memorization, and part of it is if you know the rules and you know what it is, then it obviously helps. So I don't know anybody that if you are affiliated with a shul that somebody wouldn't be happy to teach you if somebody
Yeah,
went.
I know I have people do, but what if you can't?
And you can read the Hebrew. Look, everybody in this class, even the people that are not here, everybody in this class knows the vowels and the consonants. You do know it. So it's just a matter of practicing it. And so to become fluent. And especially, none of the people in this class would take on a whole aliyah, like even a whole triennial. I don't think at this point, a big piece. But to do a little piece, you could certainly read it. Once you read it, that's the first step. Once you look at it and know where the periods are, what it means a little bit, and you can learn it. I mean, there's no reason you can't. I have a very bad hard time memorizing. When I took piano, even when I was young, you're supposed to memorize pieces, and I had a very hard time with it. So, but if you know the notes and you know sort of what it means, and if you're going to do just a small piece, you learn what it means. You can do that. You know enough. You look at the English, somebody helps you with it. You know what it means, and you can do it. You can just memorize. When I had my bat mitzvah, when I celebrated my bat mitzvah when I was 13 a million years ago, I learned from a record. It was pure memorization. I did not learn the notes. It was pure memorization. Like if you learn any song, somehow we learn to sing songs and we learn the tunes, right? A prayer or a song, we learn it. But you don't really have to memorize all of it if you study it. And so you can do it, and you could do it if you wanted to do it. I said to Arlene she could do it if she wanted to do it. It's a little scary because it's not written down. That's why it's scary. When you get to the Torah, you can't just, if you do a Haftorah, it's all in front of you. If you know what the notes are, and you know what the letters are, and you know what the vowels are, you can read it. In a Torah, you don't have all that information. But if you practice it, and you learn it, then you can do it.
It amazes me.
And you could do it if you wanted to.
I guess the scariest part to me is that it needs to be perfect or as close to part. And if it's not, then the Gabbai will correct you.
If you have a kind Gabbai, the Gabbai will, and you don't take it personally. Look, there are very few, and I know some Torah readers that are always perfect, but very, very few Torah readers are always perfect. Honestly, if you have somebody read an English prayer out loud that's leading an English prayer, or if I'm even following an English prayer, sometimes I read a word wrong, and that's English.
Yeah.
So yes, you're supposed to try to do it perfectly. Just do it as well as you can. You don't get up there and not practice. You don't get up there and know that you're not going to do a good job. But on the other hand, there's a reason that there are gabbis there. If everybody did it perfect, you wouldn't need a gabbai there.
True.
So, and hopefully you have good gabbayim that know when you need, something. And also, obviously, each person is different. Some readers don't want the gabbai to correct right away. They want to correct themselves. It gets thrown off if somebody does it. But it does. But if they do it kindly and do whatever, and also with the note, unless what you're saying really throws it off, they won't correct notes. Because sometimes it's easier if you are corrected with the note because you get back on track. You know what I mean? If you do the wrong note, you might get off track. But the vowels, and also if you have really good gabbais, because the vowels sometimes change the meaning and sometimes they don't change the meaning. When it doesn't change the meaning, they don't really have to correct that.
Okay.
Like when we talk about if it follows something, it has a different sound, but so sometimes it's like it's haaretz, but it's eretz. So it's the same word. Aretz and eretz is the same word, but sometimes it is just one vowel can change the whole meaning of the word. So then they really are supposed to correct. And as long as you can just then take the correction, that's okay. I wouldn't be comfortable if somebody got up and had to be corrected every third word. That would make me feel uncomfortable. But if
Mm.
you have to be corrected a few times, you know what? It's I think that there's value in making the Torah your own. And that's what you're doing by taking it on and learning how to do Torah.
Yeah.
It is a big mitzvah. I think it's a beautiful thing to be able to do that.
Yeah. There's
And
a
but I
lot
would,
of-
and if you're thinking about it, I would really pay attention when people read Torah and look at it and see how it sounds and everything, and then and see that, and you'll see it's probably a little easier than you even think.
Mhm.